You want to know who I am, you can check out my website. It's up here. And before I start, I would like to thank the moderators for letting me like have this stage today, especially in this year where Matt is visiting. It's an honor. So my name is Chakrit, and I'll be happy to talk to you about like anything in the engineering team, of course, about Ruby as well. I don't bite, so after all, this is a Ruby conference and not Python. So I'll be having another talk at the Python conference end of year as well. So a little bit more about me, what I'm doing. I'm now running software company called Prodigy 9. I'm CTO at Forward Insight. And I also running the IT team at Hatterley Electric, the electric fan company. And I teach coding every Friday, and we also have an event with running with my team called Thursday. And I still write code, so like don't worry, I still write Ruby. So today I am here to share a little bit to you guys about how we are selling Ruby to big corporations. So I hope you can take like bits and pieces from my slides today, and maybe sell it to like your clients, your customers, whatever, and get more people to write more Ruby, right? As Matt said, we need like bigger community. So let me start with the company model. And what we say is better people leads to better software. And we actually had that like printed on our hoodies. And of course, better Rubyist leads to better software as well. And we had that hoodie as well. And if you see today, I'm wearing this shirt, better Rubyist, better software. So a little bit of a shameless plug here. I'm selling this shirt. If you want one, you come see me. So back from the tangent onto the topic. So how do you actually sell Ruby to big corporations? And I had an idea of this talk because we were actually building a new insurance website. It's called swaddi.com. The lead engineer is actually like sitting somewhere in here. And we have this promise where you can actually find an insurance plan in 2 seconds, right? And we're building that with Rails, so that I think that just says a lot. So yesterday there's a Ruby Night event where Matt gave his actually similar keynote. I think he edited the slides before he showed you guys today. But he did mention that there's an argument of like Ruby is dead, right? Who hears things Ruby is dead? I hope not. None of us. Matt has a very good reply. He just said, "So what?" Right? So what? But actually, I would like to give a proper response to this today, so you guys can like don't have to like fight with your boss or something. Before we do that, I would like to show you these 4 things. Can I get a show of hands? How many of you actually know these 4 things? Oh wow, that's actually a lot more than But I guess half of you like didn't know much about them. So in a sense, so like think of the language Latin, right? In science they use Latin as a language. They didn't use like modern language, for example, like imagine we have a scientist using Gen Z's terms to name things. That would be like funny, right? So they use Latin because Latin is dead. So in the same sense, we can say Ruby is dead is actually not a bad point. Instead, I would like to propose a new word for you guys. Whenever people say Ruby is dead, I want you guys to like maybe suggest them that, hey, it's not dead. It's not actually dead. Ruby is stable, right? So, and yeah, right. It's good, right? And actually, the bad points that people attribute to Ruby right now, the Java people, they take it as a feature. Like we see it as a bug, they see it as a feature. Like for example, we say Ruby is dead. Java people say, hey, we have a stable and mature language. right? There's nothing exciting going on for Ruby anymore. Java didn't mention that. They just says we have everything covered. Like whatever you need to do, there's a library for that, right? So let's flip the perspective a little bit. Like instead of Ruby is dead, let's say Ruby is a mature language, like ready for tough production workloads, right? Okay, on to the second point. And I think this is an easy one. Ruby does not scale. I mean, I think in this room, everybody probably has a good comeback for this, right? Can someone like, does anyone have a good one for this? No? Okay, so if I went to a corporate and I see people say Ruby does not scale, I will, what I will do is that I won't be correcting them, right? That would be like rude or like tough. So instead, I will ask them questions, right? And that's really easy because as we all know, there are a lot of production Ruby, like large scale installations of Ruby. I'll just ask them like, is your code on GitHub? And if they say, yes, we host on GitHub, then hey, you're using the world's largest code repository running on Ruby, right? Have you ever buy from an online store? So if you did, there's a big chance you are buying from Shopify, which is like 11% of the world's e-commerce market, right? Run on Ruby on Rails. If they're still not convinced, I'll ask them, hey, did you take a vacation recently? And did you book an Airbnb? Right? Still Ruby. You're using Ruby every day in your products, in the stuff you use. And it's like all of these are like global, like worldwide companies running huge platforms. So what's your argument for like Ruby doesn't scale for my little corporate website with 10 visitors per day? Like it makes no sense, right? Yeah, so I'm actually a little fast here, so you guys can get lunch faster. And so I cut down my slides to just 3 points, and this will actually be the last one. And I actually have more points listed. If you want to talk to me more about it, please find me after the talk. I'll be happy to share more details on what I did, and yeah, and what did you face, like what difficulty you face when doing that, and I can help you. And the last one is a little bit trickier. So I'll need a bit more slides for this one. And the argument I face is that Ruby devs are expensive, right? True or not true, I don't know, depends, right? But the more another version of this is Ruby devs are hard to find, right? They're hard to find. To counter this, I would like to propose another way of looking at it. But to drive that point home, I need you guys to walk through, imagine a scenario with me first. So let's say you are a new graduate student. You just graduate from college, right? You go to a job, and you pick a corporate job. You want a stable life. What does your life look like? You have a base salary, right? And you have a base set of skills. Maybe you're still innocent. You haven't worked on microservice before. You don't know what clean architecture is, or does it even matter? So yeah, you went to a corporate, but then that year, the year you went in, like the corp make a big acquisition. They made tons of profits, right? What happens? What happened to corporate people when they make a lot of profits? They pay bonus, right? They pay a lot of bonus, but still the job doesn't change very much in a corporate setting. So this is what happened to him. Like he get a boost to his salary, but his skill only improved by a little, because corporate job, you just punching tickets, right? Tickets come in, write some Java, tickets go out, that's it. So, and this loop continues, right? Next year is the same. They get bonus, they get a little bit upgrade skills. And then after 3 or 4 years, they start to wonder, hey, what am I doing here? I'm not improving. And he look at his friends, like all his friends are doing startups, right? Are doing like fancy new technology. So he tries to find a new job, right? What happens? Can someone guess what happened? They go to a hiring manager. What happens? They apply for a job. They got an interview. The hiring manager asks them some complicated technical concept. They could not answer, or they could answer only like on the surface level. But when the hiring manager says, "Okay, maybe we can have you as a junior or as a mid-level," he sends it to the HR person. The HR person then asks the candidate for like, "Hey, what salary do you want?" What happens? He's gonna ask for his existing salary, right? Which is like way beyond the level of his skill. So the HR comes back and, "Hey, can we hire? Are you sure you want to hire this guy as a mid-level? He's asking for senior level pay." Right now, what happens here? Is any of you have experienced this before in your own career? A bit, right? Some of you, yeah. So what happened is that he stopped. He could not go to a new place to learn new language, right? No hire, right? He got a no hire, so he gonna stay at the same place. And what that did to him is that the loop continues, right? He keeps getting higher and higher pay, but his skill doesn't improve like a ton, unless he works on the side or something by himself, of course. Now, let's switch. Let's flip it. Let's say you are just out of college. Instead of going to corporate, you go to a startups. You found a hot new startup to work on. What happened? The same thing, right? You have the same set of skills as your friend, except you went to a startup, they can't pay you very well. So you get like half the pay of the corporate. And of course, because you're in a startup, there are like a ton of things to do. Like you maybe if they don't have a DevOps, you have to do ops. If they don't have a front-end developer, now you need to learn JavaScript, right? If they have a complex problem domain, you are the one who need to model it yourself. Maybe you have a CTO to ask, but just one person and no one else, right? So your skills skyrockets, right? But still, your pay is not very much. Let's say the loop continues, but it's in reverse. You have really high skill, you're not paying very much, right? So how do we sell this? How do we sell this to the corporate? I would like to propose another concept here, and it's called, let's call the first group of developers, like they are developers with inflated value. And what I mean is that compared to the skill, the value of them are really inflated for whatever reasons. And then let's call the other group of developers the one with inflated skill. So they have a lot of skill, they're just not being paid very well. And in that sense, when you talk to like corporate people, you can tell them, "Hey, don't you want people with more skill compared to like people who just ask for a lot?" And this is a very easy sell because Ruby devs usually are much smarter and like have a lot more skill than traditional corporate devs. So we can borrow one of their argument to talk to them, and we can say that Ruby devs has a much higher return on investment, right? Okay. So yeah, I think that's all my slides. So I actually have a bunch more points, but I won't bore you guys with that now, and I'll let you guys have some lunch quickly, so I'll close it. So again, if you wanna know what I do and you wanna contact me, just check out my website up here. And if you want the shirt, right, we have a quick Google Forms link here. And the funny thing is that the developer in my team decided to use JavaScript to build the site. That's why we couldn't ship today. If they had used Ruby, right? So thank you.